This is what I want to do. Every young person in here, take out your phone, your cell. And I want you to text somebody or tweet somebody. I don't know what you do. I want you to text or tweet this statement. All right? Think of somebody that you know needs to hear a good encouraging phrase. You might be saving somebody's life by this text. Y'all ready? Yeah. All right, this is what you text or tweet. Be a king. Be a king. And then say, raise the standard. Be a king. Raise the standard by stopping the violence before it stops you. Be a king. Raise the standard by stopping the violence before it stops you. If you're older and you want to do it, you can do it as well. Text or tweet. Be a king. Raise the standard by stopping the violence before it stops you. That's your first text. I'm getting y'all engaged. You got that? Oh, I need to say it slower. Be a king. Huh? You have to forward it to a lot of people? Oh, whichever way you want to do it. As long as one person gets it. Be a king, raise the standard by stopping the violence before it stops you. You got one more to do. That's why I'm trying to get you to rush, because I don't have but about 10 minutes left. No, not you. I'm talking to everybody. Are y'all ready for the next one? Okay. Now, the next one is spread the truth, not the lies. Get the facts. Spread the truth, not the lies. Get the facts. Now, I'm going to spend most of my time, spread the truth, not the lies, get the facts. I'm going to spend most of my time around that notion, because a lot of violence originates first in your thinking. But in our society, there is a tendency to spread propaganda and lies that causes conflict, division. And I want to put this out. Dr. King said, the choice is no longer between nonviolence or violence, but between nonviolence or non-existence. And that means that if we are going to create a culture of nonviolence, then we're going to have to do some things differently. We're going to have to change our minds and our perspectives and our focuses as it relates to life. Now, what I mean by that, we have a habit and a practice in our world of taking things that are either said or spoken and running with them. In nonviolence, the first step we talk about is get your information, gather your information. Most violence begins because we don't do appropriate information gathering. And this is really true when it comes to your generation, because one person will say, you know, she said blah, 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 blah. And you'll take it and run with it and tell so-and-so, yeah, she said so-and-so and so-and-so, and she ain't she. And so from you to her to now other people, we're spreading something that may or may not be the truth. Not only are we spreading lies, but we spread our personal hang-ups with people. So if we have a certain attitude about somebody, we don't like them just because they're smart, or we don't like them because they may be the teacher's pet, or we don't like them because they rocking something that we wish we could rock, then we have a tendency to bring other people to us and start spreading propaganda about that person. And the next thing you know, there's tension and there's conflict. And eventually, it can lead to fighting and physical violence. But the violence began when we did not allow ourselves to gather all our information. A most recent example that all of us are familiar with is Ms. Shirley Sherrod, who was fired by the Obama administration, wrongly. What happened in that situation? Let's take it as an example. Somebody took out of context a statement she made about a white farmer. They took it because they had an agenda, played it on Fox. It began a string of lies, misinformation, and propaganda, which is violence. So the first act of violence already occurred. Violence is not just when I hit you and you hit me back, when I shoot him and he shoots me back. Violence begins when I begin to say things, think first, and then say things that are not true, and say things that are dehumanizing. And so the violence already began. And then it started a string of more violence. Because first, it was taken out of context. So that was the first act of violence. She got mistreated. She got treated violently. Secondly, it was played, and then people start calling for her firing. Nobody took the time to research and listen to the entire context of which her statement was made. And so then the administration steps in and she loses her job. Violence. Not losing her job, but because she lost it because some propaganda and misinformation was spread, some lies, instead of the truth. And so we've got to find a way in our culture to help people understand the importance of treating everybody with dignity and respect and making sure that we have our information correct. Because if you study history, most wars and most conflicts began because of propaganda. Don't think that people are just fighting in nations just because they just fight. Somebody went in and infiltrated a camp, and they began to spread information that wasn't necessarily true. It caused a reaction in that camp, and they began to train, educate, and pass on that information. And those people now are holding on to something that is not necessarily true in the case, and they end up having a certain perspective, an opinion, and an attitude about another group of people. And then they act out of that, and wars begin.